How to react to this? This is kind of a loaded question, I suppose, but what should be the proper reaction to an affair? Or how did you react when you found out? I imagine there will be a stark contrast between male and female in regard to their initial response to learning of an affair. As for me, I found out wife cheated 3 years ago. Initially, I believe I was angrier than hurt and pretty much lost my crap when she told me. Flipped the table, snatched her up, etc. I was mad and I will not apologize, expressing my anger outwardly or basically blowing up. From there, we had a brief reconciliation period where we tried to work on our issues, spend time together. Bonding, talk, go out, etc. Since that time, things have basically tapered off, and though we don't argue, we have zero intimacy. No holding hands, no I love you, no kisses, nothing. We live like two same-gender housemates. I will admit that it is my doing, as for some odd reason she disgusts me. I am repulsed by her. Accordingly, we have not had bonding in over a year. Really, all I do anytime an opportunity to be close arises is to think mean, horrible things about her. I do love her, but also believe I would rather stay in a corner than sleep with her. I guess I'm rambling. I just have no idea how to fix this. I guess my idea of marriage is to accept it for what it is, the slow and unstoppable death of your soul. Both of my grandparents were married for 40+ years, and neither one of my grandfathers ever looked happy. Just like a poor, tormented, and beaten soul, the shell of a man that once was. I guess for the most part that I just figured that's marriage, and now that I'm there I just got it out, day to day. Also, my parents were divorced when I was 9. Dad beat the hell out of mom, etc., and supposed that getting a divorce would be admitting defeat or failing. I think of it like in today's society with so many divorces. You're just supposed to gut it out, buck the trend. Marriages are hard, and take work, and are really not about being fun. It's about making it through regardless, day in and day out, so that 20 years from now I can be that beaten soul, just like Grandpa. Luckily, we never had kids. That was never a thought that I entertained. I'm 35 now, so having kids is a moot point at this time. Too old for that. As for reward, well, I get to file jointly with the IRS, and do not have to lose half of my stuff. It's cheaper to keep them. I have to hit the reset button and start all over again, dating a bunch of girls only to figure out what it is I do or do not like about them. At least in my current situation, albeit an unhappy one. I know the person to the extent that I don't have to establish new routines. I also don't have to go through all the BS of meeting a new family, explaining about mine, or having drawers in my house rearranged in the new girl's attempt to nest. I like the comforter I have on the bed now and don't want to go out and buy a new one, waste money, just so me and whomever the new person is can have our own. So basically, it boils down like this. Yes, I hate her and would rather watch TV than engage in with her. But we are not at war at the moment. We are cordial and we each do our own thing, so to speak, activities and such. I work, come home, go to gym, come home, eat, sleep, and am not questioned about what I do and don't do. There is at this point enough maturity in the relationship that it is understood that I can have guy friends, go out to a bar, whatever, without acting stupid or doing something I would regret. The new girl thing just seems like more trouble than it's worth. I like being able to go to Walmart by myself to grab something really quick and out 5 minutes, without having to make it a his and hers bonding experience that will now take an hour. I don't want to have to re-explain my life and learn a whole new set of rules. I don't want my furniture rearranged. I don't want my dishes moved around. I don't want to deal with BS if new girl comes across some memento from a decade ago when I actually did have a good time with wife. Picture, hat, ticket stub, etc. I guess I am hatefully complacent. Sad, I know. Like I said, we are both not at war at the moment. For 6 months it was like World War III in the house. Snide comments, sarcasm, hurtful, hateful comments, mostly from me in retaliation, I suppose, for hurting my feelings, so to speak. It got to a point really where I was afraid I was going to do something seriously dumb. Anyways, it tapered off, I suppose, once I ran out of things to get miffed about, and after I had managed to say the same thing 18 different ways and had poked and prodded every possible angle. Like I said, now it's kind of at the point of mutually assured destruction. No fighting, we are cordial to each other, have silent dinner on the couch, small talk about the news, and that's about it. I just don't want to turn my life upside down again and start over from scratch and have to learn a whole new set of rules and about a whole new person flaw, and about her eventually taking half later down the road. Maybe, but I'm also the type that would have an estate sale while she was at work and spend our savings on a truckload of candy bars and park it in the hot Florida sun just to make sure everyone ends up with nothing. Counselors are just fool's gold for folks not willing to deal with the issue themselves, or looking for a magic bullet or panacea to fix things. I would much rather gut it out on sheer force of will than to ever sit on the couch and become scribble notes on the doctor's legal pad. I had my suspicions, did my research, gathered my evidence, and then questioned her, to which she of course vehemently denied until confronted with the facts. I guess I kind of wanted her to lie, or perhaps believe that this was all just some huge cosmic coincidence and nothing actually happened. That was not to be the case though. I remember going numb when she started confessing and then got the feeling kind of like you get before a big fight. All the sound around you turn into background noise. Your ears get hot. Your hands start to get cold. You can feel the blood pumping in your neck. You can hear your own heartbeat. You're just focused within yourself, and then boom, I went level 5 or scorched earth. I didn't know what else to do. I wanted her to feel hurt. I wanted her to feel like I felt. I flipped the table, snatched up our marriage license, letters we had written in the past to each other back during the in-love phase, pictures, videos, basically anything representative of us, stuffed it all in a metal trash can and torched it. Whilst she begged and pleaded for me not to, I went into the bedroom and snatched a locket out of her jewelry case that her deceased father had given her that had some old pic of them together when she was a teenager, and tossed it in the flames as well. I just wanted her to feel hurt, to be where I was. Then of course you spend the next few days hurting yourself because you want to learn every little detail, poking and prodding, the whys, trying to find a reason. Was he better, more money, etc. What the reason was. All you end up doing is setting yourself up for years worth of triggers. For example, there's a movie, they went and saw that movie. So, anytime I see it in the channel listing I get pissed. All the little details that hindsight being 20/20 you with you would have never asked about. Additionally, you seek out new and more inventive ways to hurt her feelings. Like taking her old but otherwise healthy chihuahua to the vet to be put to sleep, because again you want her to feel hurt, sad, like something has been taken from her. You want her to understand pain. You act completely out of character. Prior to this whole thing I was always very loving. Soft touches, tickle games, surprise dinners, or surprise clean the house for her. I did the dishes regularly, took out the trash, etc. Worked hard, paid the bills, and let her indulge more than myself, flying in one of her family members on her B-day, getting her that pair of shoes she mentioned in passing while you were at the mall to let her know you were listening, etc. I worked hard and communicated well, always asking how her day was, what was on her mind, etc. Additionally, I am an alpha type of guy, so she felt secure with me. I could provide and protect, which is what I thought I was supposed to do. I mean, somewhere it changed and the long descriptions of her day turned to not much. And the answer to what are you thinking about turned to nothing, and the how are you turned into a fine. I mean, I would understand if I did something wrong, but I did not. I almost felt like I was too nice to her, like I should have just been a jerk to her the whole time, as that for some reason seems to keep women around. Women that stay with guys that beat them and all. I mean, the whole thing made me crazy. After D-Day and the begging and pleading on her part I did. I was trying to reconquer lost ground, take back my territory. Primal, I know, grunt thumps chest. I begged her every which way from Sunday in an attempt to restore my own confidence or something, I don't know. But it was empty. Half the time I could not even reach completion. Not due to a medical issue, just mental, I guess. Kind of like trying to eat a sandwich but the bread's all wet. Sure, you're hungry and take a couple bites and then you're like, what am I doing, this is gross, and give it to the dog. From there it petered off. Colorful choice of words. I wasn't into it as I couldn't get a nut anyway. Then some kind of switch flipped and I just started looking at sleeping with her as a vile act. Just gross. Repulsive. Turn your stomach sickening. I mean, it's not about, hey, let me her without emotion so I can before this thing is over. It's not that way at all. I wish it were that easy. I could easily do that with some strange chic, empty, emotionless boning. Not a problem. But we have a history and there is emotion there. Mostly hurt, I guess. How can you give pleasure to someone that shrunk your heart into a little shriveled up beef jerky strip of resentment? At that time, I was trying to recapture lost territory, plant my flag a bit higher on the mountain than the other guy. But after I recaptured the land, I discovered that the enemy had salted the fields and nothing fertile would grow there again. It was just a vile land full of scorched trees, sand and decaying animal parts, and the occasional tumbleweed. It's a mess. All I have figured out is that women will make you crazy and can take an otherwise healthy man and kill him from the inside. Rot him to the core from the inside out. I am terribly scared of starting all over again. I fear the dating world. I have learned that the grass is the same color or worse on the other side of the fence. I mean, I'm 35. My fighting career is in its twilight and I make more now being a paid sparring partner now than I do compete. No more 50,000 payouts in my near future. So I can't lean on my athletic prowess anymore. The younger kids are coming up and they're as hungry as I was and faster now than me. So that's a chunk of my existence that I'm losing. I look out at the potential dating landscape and at 35 it looks like a post-apocalyptic world. Women all have kids, or are divorcees with trust issues. Their bodies are not tight anymore. 3 decades of gravity have taken their toll. There is some other dude involved and picking up her kids every other weekend. She will probably end up baby's daddy at some point. I know all my divorced friends who have kids end up see baby moms or baby daddy again at some point, regardless of whether or not one or both of them is in a new relationship. A recap of the good old days, I don't know. Additionally, if you do find a woman in this age group that is not or has not been married and does not have kids, then something is for sure wrong with her. Better park your truck in the garage and buy a gun if you break up with her cause she is probably a nut. Or I could shop younger and get a woman that has no kids, no past husbands, a tight body and nothing intellectually to offer me at my current age, as I have probably been there and done that. It just seems bleak. I guess I want the unrealistic and just want my wife back before all of this. The woman I used to know and have, who I have shared years of my life with. Who was there through injuries, recoveries, big wins and crushing losses. There through the death of my family members. And her. The woman that was there when I buried my dog of 14 years. The one that was so happy to see me each time I successfully came back from Iraq and Afghanistan. That really worried about me and made me feel valued. I swear she has got to be in there somewhere. I'm not the exact same as I was 15 years ago, but my concern, caring and love never wavered. It all happened for with no rhyme or reason. Comments. It starts with accepting that your wife is human and she screwed up. A lot of humans screw up, and they often hurt others when they screw up big time. Once you accept that humanity, you have to start actively letting it go. By actively, I mean shutting down the angry thoughts when they come to mind, and not bringing up the hurts to needle her when a hurt spring to mind. You have to make a choice to do that, though. You have to decide that you want to repair the marriage and then behave as if you do. Do something different, behave differently, change your actions little by little, change your thoughts little by little. Because what you are doing and have been doing isn't helping you. You aren't letting her get away with anything. You would be helping yourself move on. Wouldn't it feel good to let yourself move on? OP responds, this is about as weak as you can get, except she is human and screwed up. Okay, I'll respond this way. Once you make a decision to cheat and fire that round, it's going down range. You can't take it back. It's gone. Something is going to get hit. I mean, you don't accidentally cheat. You don't oops I tripped and ended up with a person beside you on a bed. It does not work that way. The cheater makes a conscious, concerted effort to cheat. It is a decision that is made hundreds if not thousands of times during the affair. It's not an oops, I screwed up, I human, oh well sorry, let's hold each other cry and hysterically bond our way through this. It is a decision that involves intentionally deceiving their partner. Likewise, this decision is made hundreds if not thousands of times during the affair. In the romantic arena, it is an aggravated crime done with malice. To further dispel the oops mentality, I'll look at it this way. If you are driving along at night and go to change the radio station, swerve off the road and hit something and call the police, that's an oops. In order to cheat, a wayward spouse must 1. Make a decision to involve themselves in a situation conducive to cheating. 2. Make a decision to go through with the act. 3. Make a decision to lie to the spouse in order to have time to commit the act further. 4. Make a decision to ensure that the act remains concealed. As to would I cheat now if the opportunity presented itself post D-Day? No way. Angry as I might be or hateful as I might be, I know even more now how my mom felt back when I was 11 to 12. I now have a frame of reference for the hurt that I saw back then. I have felt it too, and it sucks. Also, if I were to go about that path, it would 1. Make me like my dad. 2. Probably give her, some twisted sense of justification for her actions. 3. Put me in a position where I no longer hold the moral high ground. 4. Probably hurt me more than anyone else. And lastly, and most importantly, make me put my wife's face to my mom's pain. I know how much it hurts, and I am sure it would still devastate her in spite of what she has done, which I for some reason feel is undeserved. Eye for an eye does not apply. Will I chastise her for her actions? Yes. Am I cold and distant? Yes. Would I beat the hell out of someone who threatened her safety? Yes. Would I still protect her? Yes. Do I still secretly love her, but am either afraid to show it or feel that she does not deserve to see it? Yes. Or maybe all of my hurt shows her that I do love her. As you can't be hurt by what you don't care about. But do I really want her to feel that kind of betrayal and hurt, the soul-wrenching, turn your world upside down agony, or as bad as me on the inside? Not really. In spite of all that is going on and my anger, I still have some compassion. 2 wrongs don't make a right and would only stir the pot and probably make me think of myself as my own father. Do I have some deep-seated issues that would probably make a counselor recommend me for commitment? Maybe, but I'll never go and see a head doctor, so it's a moot point. I'm loyal, at least I can say that. Comments. Is she trying to make amends, or isn't she? What does your gut say? Or has she tried to make amends in the past, but that lessened off when you stopped being so angry at her, and did that re-trigger your anger and make her step back up again? OP responds, she did, and has all but stopped, as I was usually non-receptive and or would get up and leave, as it put me back into that place. She wanted to talk about it, let me see her email and all that, but I can't talk about it for fear of exploding or being really hurt reliving all that again, and I should not have to go through her email. Why is it that I must now make babysitting her a priority in my life? I told her to keep her damn email passwords and take her phone and stuff it where the sun doesn't shine. It hurts me to think that I would have to snoop because of why I'm doing it. Cause she some other dude in my house, no less. And what if I found something else, some innocent fact she forgot? Or I don't know. I know my tendency to obsess, and if I snoop, I'm only setting myself up to try and visualize every second they had together in the past. Why do I love her? That's a deep question, which the most honest answer is just because. Why do you love your dog, your kids, etc.? Love is probably the one thing that defies reason more than anything else. Because of our long history, because of all the good that once was. Because of how we have grown together. Because we were always there for each other, etc. Sound cliche, but not really sure how to answer that question. If you think back to the beginning, what was it about her that made you fall in love with her? We are polar opposites and serve to balance each other out in basically every aspect of life. We complemented each other. My strengths were her weaknesses. And vice versa. And what were her reasons for falling in love with you? I once asked this long ago and was told I was strong, honest, funny, and made her feel safe. What, of those reasons, have changed? Well, I would say I'm probably not that honest anymore. I don't lie blatantly. But I lie by omission, by not bringing all this stuff up and pretty much stuff it down inside and deal with it as best I can. My humor, the funny me, is fair well been shot to hell as well. Can't remember the last time I laughed or much less did anything fun or funny, so to speak. I don't know. When you're well, that stuff just comes naturally. When you're strung out, matters of the heart, and upset, it's too much of a chore to pretend to be happy in order to be funny as well. Sorry if these answers are a bit all over the place, but I'm typing quickly and from the hip whilst she is outside doing yard stuff. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. Anyway, there was a minor blowout in which she said, and I'll quote, "How can we fix the relationship if we don't sleep together?" To which I replied, "How can we sleep together if we don't fix the relationship?" Needless to say, we are at an impasse here. Story 2. It started 5 months ago. I was having anxiety problems and uncomfortable with my wife going to see the same cover band every 6 weeks or so. Every time she went, she got extremely drunk, was always in the front row by the same guitar player, and at the end of the night always to a picture taken with him. I freaked out finally and thought she was having an affair when I found another pic of those two after a show, and she didn't want me to see it because she has so many. This led to a nervous breakdown and almost destroyed our marriage. We got through it. She told me she would never go there again. Being with me and the kids is much more important. Now 3 weeks ago she now is frustrated that she can't go to the show anymore. Never mind how I felt about her actions. So, it's her friend's birthday and she always go to these shows and none of her other friends can go, so my wife has to go to the show. Never mind my feelings. The last 3 weeks she has been acting very odd, and last that I am just too suspicious and I get on her computer and look at her history. For the last 4 weeks she has gone to this guy's Facebook page once or twice a day. I tell her what I did last night and she is extremely angry that I didn't respect her privacy. And she didn't think there was anything wrong with going to his page every day. Today I see that she is Facebook friends with him but has me blocked from seeing that she is friends with him. I am extremely upset. She says nothing ever happened and she barely knows the guy. He lives on the other side of the state and only saw him for a few minutes at the shows. But I think this is really wrong. Can I get anyone's opinion on this? Am I overreacting? There have been no texts, emails, or chats that I am aware of. The guy is married with a small kid. But I think it is wrong that she just can't stay away from this guy. Thoughts? I am staying away from her computer and I can see who she texts because her phone is on my account and she knows this, so if she was doing something, she wouldn't text. I have no idea how much this guy is in contact with her. You know, she is married and I have gone to the shows in the past, but I can't stand them. I just got home and she told the kids she was sick and went to bed, so it will be a peaceful evening. I am afraid divorce is ahead, as we have had fights about this show many times the last 3 years. I am still stunned she would friend this guy, but there seems to be nothing I can do to make her want to stop. She is almost 37 going on 21. Again, thanks for the input. I just needed some other opinions. I know snooping on a computer is wrong, but I should have found nothing and then felt like crap. One last thing, the guy has no talent. The band basically lip sync and play along to a track on a laptop. They don't even play. She thinks everything she has done is fine. She destroyed 2 phones and lost $50 another night out of her purse because she gets so drunk. Going to his Facebook page to look at pictures every day for 4 weeks is okay. It is impossible to reason with that logic. Comments: you need to serve her divorce papers to shock her out of her fog. She is not going to listen to you right now. She is infatuated with this guy, and if she is not in a physical affair yet, she soon will be. I would consider this a severe danger to your marriage and it should be treated appropriately. If you manage to shock her out of this ridiculous behavior by having her served with papers, then you can start discussing boundaries and codes of reasonable conduct. If you don't stop this now, she will end up in an affair. If not with this guy, then another. She's out of control. Time to put the hammer down, friend. OP responds, I think that is what she wants. Last night when we were arguing, she kept blaming me for ruining our marriage and messing up our kids. She wants out but wants me to be the one at fault. All conjecture, but that is all I can do with someone who doesn't tell me anything. I have gone in the past. When we first started going, it was okay for the first couple of times, but then her and her friends wanted to be right next to the stage and meet the band. But really, I was brought along to drive everyone home. and I had a blow-up down there once because that was the only reason I was there. I have gone other times, but it basically ends in a fight at home. She is an argument ninja. She can twist anything and everything back to me. Sometimes I almost start to laugh while arguing. Again, I appreciate all the input. I'll throw something that I find funny that started the fight last night. A little info needed is that we never go out just us two anymore. It's always something with one or more of her friends. So, we planned a weekend away in a couple of weeks for our anniversary. Her friend got upset because my wife was also having a get-together for her birthday. So, she invited her friend who is a coworker to come spend Saturday afternoon with us on our 2-day getaway. And she didn't understand why I would be upset. Makes me laugh. I wasn't okay with it, but after I had a blow-up at her 3 years ago. She held it over my head, and every time I objected she would bring that whole thing out. It is part of the reason I had a breakdown last December. I think this relationship is basically over. Huge fight last night, me talking, her screaming, throwing things and trying to hit and kick me, while the kids could hear. Basically, she can't trust me because I invade her privacy again after doing it 6 months ago. Her going to the Facebook page is harmless in her opinion. My snooping is the worst thing a person could do, breaking her trust. I know trust is the #1 thing you need in a marriage, and neither of us trust each other. I am suggesting calm plans to try to repair this a little, or at least make it a civil breakup, and her response is basically more screaming. So, the scoreboard is me 100% wrong and the cause of all the problems, and her 0% wrong. Everything she has done is innocent, and I twisted it into something bad. She denies everything and says I am crazy. 6 months ago, I went completely insane. I have the papers to back it up. After I found a picture of the two with the typical pose of the arms around each other's shoulders, like every other picture she has of him. I would say there were 8 pictures like this. If they can push me to the brink, how could she stay in any contact with him? Even if it is just looking at pics on his Facebook and looking at pics of his daughter. That is wrong. Update, just got done with an 1.5-hour fight. She doesn't want a divorce. For the kids, she does hate me. In fact, she could beat the crap out of me right now. Won't go to counseling. Thinks that is a waste of time. Wants to work it out with counseling. Despises me right now. Wants me to come home tonight for the kids. Won't be polite to me in front of the kids. What I did, spying on her after I did it 6 months ago, is the worst thing ever. In her opinion, won't accept any of the blame for anything. Will never go to the show or go to the guy's Facebook page again. Doesn't see why it was wrong. Says she has no crush or ever had any physical contact with him. On and on like that. I did take the advice given here and not back down. I am trying to make her accept her part of the problem. She just kept getting angrier and angrier at me. She said I make her feel like the worst person ever. On and on with stuff like that. It is one extreme to the other. No guilt, then sarcastically all the guilt. Again, I am not backing down. I just don't get the anger. If there was nothing there, everything she does makes her look guilty of something. But I am going to be polite to her in front of the kids, and the house is big enough for us to stay far away and not look odd to the kids. It is not going to last long until we get a divorce though. But this will give me time to get stuff in order and sock away some hidden cash. Again, an innocent person doesn't normally act this way. I never accused her of anything, I just told her it bothered me, and that makes her feel like a bee and hate me more than anything. She can't believe I would take something so minor and take it to ruin 16 years of marriage. I am the one willing to go to counseling, and I didn't think what she did was something that we would have to divorce over. The woman feels like she should have complete privacy, and why would she need that? Update, I got an email from my wife saying she wants to move on and never talk about the band or the guy again. She is through with all of it. She apologized for her behavior last fall and her behavior on her computer. She is going to communicate more and be less controlling. This is the outcome I wanted. The advice on here definitely helped. When we had our argument, I would not back down, apologize, or let her say she did nothing wrong. I never backed down, and I let her know I was willing to end it. I haven't won a fight with her in a long time. She always turned it around on me until I had to give in to move on. I am not settling back and like nothing happened, and she is still angry. She is the type of person who takes a while to get over things. I am using this time to also prepare in case something explodes in the future. I am getting all the financials in order and try to stash a few bucks. The plus side is we do have some new boundaries, and I think she might have finally taken a look in the mirror about a few of the things she did. She tried to put all the blame on me, but I would not let her. But having some new boundaries will help again. I think she might have finally figured out that stalking this guy is not what a married woman should do. During the argument, she finally said she does not know why she went to his page all the time. Maybe, just maybe, she realized that doing that is wrong and she needs to stop to keep her life and her family. But my guard is up and I am prepared to leave if stuff goes bad. She told me about his religious views, his politics, and it was all the exact opposite of what she is. So that is why it made no sense to stay friends or visit his page every day. I feel very confident that this was a mostly one-sided crush. But it is still wrong. When you make your husband go crazy, you might need to stop it. We will see, but I am preparing in case stuff goes bad again. We read the email and she did not apologize for hitting me and screaming profanities at me while the kids could hear. She has said 2 words to me since the email, as she said she needs some time to get back to normal. And frankly, her apology isn't very sincere. This is a woman who hates me because I went on her computer and looked at her history. That's all. I'm not caving on any of this. She hates me, well, I don't like her either. I'm not going to talk to her and try to get things back to normal. Everything she does screams guilty of something, and she won't admit to anything. I see how in the past she has manipulated me into giving in. It's not going to happen this time. I am ready to file at any time. I love my kids, but this hell isn't good for me or the kids. Love TV's comments. Although OP did not provide an update, I think a divorce will come because OP will file for the kids, not for himself. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Who knows? But one thing is for certain, staying away from this woman is a good thing. I am preparing a long series. It will come shortly after this video. So